Welcome to Religious Studies A-Level at Wardgrove School. My name is Mrs Murphy. I'm the head of Religious Studies, and I'm going to go through some of the things that you're going to be studying next year if you take Religious Studies. We follow the exam board OCR for Religious Studies A-Level. So, the course is split into three sections: ethics, philosophy, and development of Christian thought. And these three topics are taught by two teachers. Miss Tongue starts with ethics, and Miss Sparrow, she looks at philosophy. And they both teach aspects of development of Christian thought. You'll also have other lessons on essay writing, folder management, and sometimes you might have one-to-one tutorials. So what are you going to be learning about in Religious Studies A-Level? Well, there are the three sections I mentioned, but there are lots of different topics. So I thought for a little toss, these are some of the topics you're going to be looking at in year one. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to have a look at the different topics, and I was wondering if you could sort them into philosophy, ethics, and Christian thought. Have a little look. Okay, I hope it wasn't too difficult. I'm going to go through the answers now. So, what is philosophy? Well, philosophy is literally the love of wisdom, and it studies ideas like why do we exist? How do we exist? Where does our knowledge and values come from? We also study a lot about language and what can we talk about and what can we talk about with some sort of knowledge. So the topics for philosophy in year one are looking at Plato and Aristotle. There are basic fundamentals, and lots of philosophers learn from them. We also look at the soul, mind, and body debate. We look at arguments for and against the existence of God. So things like the teleological, ontological arguments and the problem of evil. In year two, we look at religious language and also the nature and attributes of God. So things like omniscience, omnibenevolence, etc. So what is ethics? Well, the term ethics comes from the Greek word ethikos, meaning character, and it can be translated as custom and refers to the customary way people act in society. And ethics is a branch of philosophy and is concerned with morality. So in year one, you would look at ethical theories like natural law, Kantian ethics, utilitarianism, situation ethics. And utilitarianism and situation ethics might be topics that you've looked at already at GCSE, and you'll be looking at those in a lot more detail. And then you're going to apply these ethical theories to the topics of euthanasia and business ethics. In year two, you would look at the ethical theories of conscience and meta-ethics, and you'd apply that to the topic of sexual ethics. So, development of Christian thought often is also known as theology. So you might be able to study at university theology, and this is that topic. So this is not studying things like worship, but how Christianity has developed over the centuries and where have certain teachings come from. So you might have questions like heaven and hell, are they eternal? How can they be eternal? Is God a woman as well as a man? Was Jesus a revolutionary person, a liberator? Should Christians practice things like civil disobedience? So In year one, you're looking at things like Augustine's teachings on human nature. You'll be looking at death and the afterlife, knowledge of God's existence, Jesus as a person, so that idea of liberator, and Christian moral principles and moral action. In year two, development of Christian thought has some of my favourite topics. So looking at things like gender theology, the rise of secularization, so this idea of rise of atheism within society, and looking at also liberation theology and Marxism. So how would you be assessed in Religious Studies A-Level? Well, you will have 3 exams at the end of year 13, one on philosophy, one on ethics, and one on development of Christian thought. And these are essay-based exams, and they are 2 hours long, and you'd have to write 3 essays in that time for each exam. What are the expectations? Well, you will have lessons from each of your teachers, and with every lesson there is an expectations of 1 hour of homework, and this will be set and checked by the teacher. Your folders need to be kept nice and neat and organised and up to date. Any work missed needs to, of course, be caught up with, and we have a process in Wardgrove for you to do that. And also there's an expectation of extra reading around each topic, and that is very important. The more reading you can do, the more knowledge that you will have on that topic. So what do you need at the start of the course? Well, you will need folders for each of the different topics. So you'll need 3 folders, one for each section, and it's really good to get organised, so having dividers so you can have each topic is divided into each of the different areas that you'll be looking at. Also, you need the year 1 textbook. So here is the year 1 textbook. I'll come back to this. You need the ISBN number to be able to order that and have that ready for September, because we will refer to that. So what could you do over the summer? Of course, you could buy the RS textbook ready. But you could also do some reading. So a really good book to get you started with looking at all these different scholars and philosophers over time is Sophie's World by Jocelyn Gardner. And it's a really good introduction to the history of our subject. You could also look at the Getting Ahead for RS A-Level sheet. I've put some good activities, some things that you can do to get ahead. Of course, you don't need to do them all. You can pick and choose which ones you'd like to watch or read, etc. But they're really good to get you interested in the topics. There's also really good films that you could watch. $1 Million Baby, that's looking at boxing, but in the area of euthanasia. The Insider looks at business ethics, and The Post looks at business ethics. Also, Erin Brockovich. And also then to also look at The Matrix. This looks at Plato's theory of the forms. If you want to get ahead a little bit more in development of Christian thought, Christian Theology is a really good book by Michael Wilcoxon, and it has really good units on the basics that we look at in year 1. So these are the things that you could do to get ahead. If you have any questions, please email into Sixth Form and they will forward those onto me and I can answer them. And we're really looking forward to seeing you at Wardgrove to study religious studies. Thank you.